What was your favorite toy as you were growing up? What is your child's favorite toy today? Is it safe? Coming up on Health Watch, holiday toy safety tips. Hello, I'm Terrence Affer Anderson, and this is Health Watch. We're into the holiday season now, and parents across the nation are visiting retailers and shopping online for a dizzying array of children's toys. But what do you know about toy safety? Do you know what age-appropriate toys to buy for your child, grandchild, niece, or nephew? We're going to provide you today with shopping tips and information that should help you as you make your purchases. I don't want to alarm you, but we feel compelled to share the following statistics. It will help you understand why toy safety is such an important topic and why we're bringing you this important information today. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission reports that in 2010, there were some 251,700 toy-related injuries treated in U.S. emergency rooms. That number has essentially remained the same for the 5 years from 2006 to 2010. 45% of these toy-related injuries were classified as lacerations, contusions, or abrasions. 46% were to the head and face, the most commonly affected area of the body. Of the 251,700 toy-related injuries in 2010, 181,500, 72%, were to children under the age of 15. 89,200, 35% of these injuries were to children under the age of 5. But the good news is that in 70 and 97% of toy-related emergency room visits, the patients were treated and released. But now the tragic news. In 2010, the Consumer Product Safety Commission also reported that there were 17 toy-related deaths to children under the age of 15. Balloons and small balls were associated with 47% of these reported deaths. 5 fatalities were attributed to balloons, and 3 deaths were associated with the small balls. Most of these toy-related deaths, 11 were from asphyxiation, another 4 were from drowning. As sobering as these numbers might be, we want you to know that there are precautions you can take to protect your child from becoming a statistic. I chatted recently with Nichelle Fleming, a senior public affairs specialist and lead spokesperson in the Office of Communications, U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission in Bethesda, Maryland. Ms. Fleming wasn't able to join me in the studio today, but she shared several very brief but insightful videos that we are going to feature today on Health Watch. The first is entitled Top Holiday Toy Safety Tips and features Ms. Fleming sharing 3 key toy safety tips for the holidays. Let's take a peek, and then I will share some additional info with you later.
During the gift-giving holiday season, various groups will talk about their top toys for the season. Here at CPSC, we are happy to report that toy recalls are down this year, but we have seen a rise in injuries involving toys. We want your holidays to be happy and incident-free, so CPSC is encouraging consumers this year to consider 3 things you can do to make toy play safer. First, start by choosing age-appropriate toys. For children younger than age 3, avoid toys with small parts, which can cause choking. For children under age 6, avoid building or play sets with small magnets. If magnets or pieces with magnets are swallowed, serious injuries or death can occur. Uninflated balloons are also a choking hazard and should be kept away from children younger than 8 years old. Discard pieces of popped balloons immediately. We also recommend that battery charging should be supervised by adults. Chargers and adapters can pose thermal burn hazards to young children. Second, gear up for safety. Include safety gear whenever shopping for sports-related gifts. Ride-on toys, bicycles, skates, and scooters. Wheeled toys can go fast, and falls can be deadly. Helmets and safety gear should be worn properly at all times and be sized to fit. Third, location, location, location. Be aware of your child's surroundings during play. Young children should avoid playing with ride-on toys near automobile traffic, pools, or ponds. They should also avoid playing in indoor areas associated with hazards such as kitchens and bathrooms and in rooms with corded window blinds. Another good piece of advice is to have a trash bag ready when kids are opening presents. By immediately discarding plastic wrappings or other packaging on toys, they are gone before they can become dangerous playthings. Plus, it will make cleanup faster. 3 simple things you can do to keep your child safe at play are: choose age-appropriate toys, wear safety gear, and play in a safe location. CPSC wishes you and your family a safe and happy holiday season. For more information, please visit us at cpsc.gov.
Happy holidays!
The Consumer Product Safety Commission also recommends these holiday toy safety tips. Be a label reader. Look for toy labels that give age and safety recommendations and use that information as a guide. Select toys that not only suit the age of the child, but their abilities, skills, and interests as well. For all children under 8, avoid toys that have sharp edges and points. Once the gifts are opened, remember to discard plastic wrappings on toys immediately before they become dangerous playthings. Keep toys appropriate for older children away from younger siblings or neighbors. And remember, pay attention to instructions and warnings on battery chargers. Some chargers lack any device to prevent overcharging. Next up, the CPSC would like to remind you that small batteries can pose quite a hazard. This video features CPS spokesman Kim Dulick, as well as Dr. Toby Ludovitz, Director, National Capital Poison Control Center, Washington, D.C. You'll see that when a child swallows a tiny battery, it is a very serious situation indeed. Let's take a look.
This is a button battery. These coin-sized batteries can increasingly be found in products used in and around the home. As button battery use increases, so does battery-related injuries and death. Injuries from button batteries have increased nearly 7-fold in recent years.
When children swallow button batteries, the batteries often pass right through the gastrointestinal tract without any problem at all. The catch is if that battery is large enough to be stuck in the esophagus. When they get stuck in the esophagus, they can burn a hole right through the esophagus. The external current is generating these small amounts of the alkali or cause erosion right through that child's esophagus. You can imagine if it goes into a blood vessel, you're going to have massive bleeding. So these are very, very serious cases. It's especially a problem in young children. Children 4 years of age or younger are the ones at most risk, although older children occasionally swallow batteries and have complications too. The 20-millimeter lithium cell, almost 13% of the time, gets stuck in the esophagus and causes a serious complication. So that's why we're focusing on the problems associated with this 20-millimeter lithium cell.
Look around your home to see if you have any button batteries. They can be found in remote controls, games, toys, electronic thermometers, talking books, bathroom scales, and hearing aids, just to name a few. How accessible are your button batteries in your home? Here are a few safety tips to help keep your kids safe. Keep remotes and other electronics out of your child's reach if the battery compartments do not have a screw to secure them. Tape may be used to help secure the battery compartment. Keep button batteries out of your child's reach. Discard batteries carefully. Do not allow children to play with button batteries. Never put your batteries in your mouth for any reason. They are easily swallowed accidentally. Always check medications before ingesting them. Adults have swallowed batteries mistaken for pills or tablets.
If you suspect that your child has swallowed a button battery, then your child needs urgent medical intervention. You need to take your child to an emergency department for an x-ray right away. Don't wait. Go straight to the emergency department. You can call the battery ingestion hotline at 202-625-3333 for guidance, but get yourself on the way to the emergency department as you make that phone call.
When a small battery is swallowed, it is indeed a very serious situation. Here are some additional safety tips from the National Capital Poison Center. Never leave batteries sitting out. Store spare batteries and batteries to be recycled out of sight and reach of young children. If recycling is not possible, wrap used batteries securely and discard them where a child can't find them. Remember, little children are very inquisitive. That in today's electronic age, tiny batteries are ubiquitous. They are everywhere. In addition to toys, here's a pretty good list where you can find them. Some places you have likely not considered. Remote controls, garage door openers, keyless entry fobs, bathroom scales, cameras, watches, digital thermometers, hearing aids, singing greeting cards, talking books, handheld video games, cell phones, flashing shoes, toothbrushes, and bedwetting monitors. The National Capital Poison Center advises you to be especially cautious with any product that contains a battery as big as a penny or larger. The 20-millimeter diameter lithium cell battery is one of the most serious problems when swallowed. These problem cells can be recognized by their imprint, engraved numbers and letters, and often have one of the three following codes: CR2032, CR2025, CR2016. If swallowed and not removed promptly, these larger button batteries can cause death or burn a hole through your child's esophagus. Here's some additional tips from the National Capital Poison Center. Make sure all hearing aids for children have child-resistant battery compartments, and make sure the lock is activated when the child is wearing the aid. Alert family members who wear hearing aids of the importance of keeping the batteries out of reach of small children at all times. Most hearing aid users remove the batteries each time they take the device off. Don't insert or change batteries in front of small children. Remember, the little ones are often watching when we are not at all aware. Here are some tips for protecting older children and adults. Never put batteries in your mouth to test, to hold, or for any reason. They are slippery and easily swallowed. Don't store batteries near pills or in pill bottles. They have been mistakenly taken as pills. Look at every medicine you intend to swallow. Turn on the lights, put on your glasses, read the label, and look at the medicine itself. Don't leave batteries on bedside tables or place them loose in your pocket or purse. Avoid storing or leaving batteries where they might be mistaken for or swallowed with food. Don't leave batteries in drinking glasses or adjacent to nuts, candy, popcorn, or other finger foods. If a battery is swallowed or placed in the ear or nose, call the National Battery Ingestion Hotline at 202-625-3333. Call them immediately. Prompt action is critical. Don't wait for symptoms to develop. If the battery was swallowed, don't eat or drink until an X-ray shows the battery is beyond the esophagus. Batteries stuck in the esophagus must be removed quickly as possible. Severe damage can occur in just 2 hours. Batteries in the nose or ear also must be immediately removed to avoid permanent damage. If you want more information on the ingestion of batteries, please call the National Capital Poison Center website. Please visit the National Capital Center Poison website at www.poison.org/batteries/tips.asp. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a break. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we're going to look at some other toy safety tips. We think you'll find them very noteworthy. See you on the other side of the break.
See these magnets? They can make holes in your stomach. Seriously, I know, they look a little like jewelry, so you might think it's cool to fake a nose or tongue piercing. But don't try it. Trust me, never put a magnet in your nose or mouth. Don't let your baby sister or brother play with them either. You can easily swallow these magnets by mistake. Then the magnets can connect inside your body, just like on the outside. You could die. If you think you have swallowed a magnet, tell your parents and call a doctor immediately, because magnets go in easier than they come out.
Welcome back. That was a pretty interesting public service announcement, wasn't it? Were you aware that magnets could be so dangerous? Let me share some safety tips with you. Just about a year ago, the Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a press release and warning that, quote, high-powered magnets and children make a deadly mix. The release went on to state that from toddlers to teens, children who swallow magnets endure severe consequences. Although the risk scenarios differ by age group, the danger is the same. When 2 or more magnets are swallowed, they can attract one another internally, resulting in serious injuries, such as small holes in the stomachs and intestinal blockage, blood poisoning, and even death. Incidents involving these high-powered ball-bearing magnets have steadily increased since 2009, involving children ranging in age from 18 months to 15 years. Of the reported incidents, 17 involved magnet ingestion and 11 required surgical removal of the magnets. You should note that when a magnet has to be removed surgically, it often requires the repair of child's damaged stomach and intestines. The CPSC offers the following tips to avoid magnet ingestion injuries, as well as advice on what to do if you suspect that your child has swallowed magnets. Keep small magnets away from young children who might swallow them. Look out for those loose magnet pieces and regularly inspect toys in children's play areas for missing or dislodged magnets. If you suspect that magnets have been swallowed, seek medical attention immediately. Look for abdominal symptoms such as abdominal pains, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Note that in X-rays, multiple magnet pieces may appear as a single object. In just a few moments, we're going to take a look at one more video from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. As we're in the holiday season, this particular video will focus on decorating safety during the holidays. But first, I want to share a little bit more information about the CPSC, which is also your best source for toy and many other recalls. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is charged with protecting the public from unreasonable risk of injury or death associated with the use of thousands of consumer products under the agency's jurisdiction. Deaths, injuries, and property damage from consumer product incidents cost the nation more than $900 billion annually. The CPSC is committed to protecting consumers and families from products that pose a fire, electrical, chemical, or mechanical hazard. CPSC's work to ensure the safety of consumer products, such as toys, cribs, power tools, cigarette lighters, and household chemicals, contributed to a decline in the rate of deaths and injuries associated with consumer products over the past 30 years. Okay, let's take a look at the last video we're going to screen today from the CPSC. It is on holiday decorating safety, and if it doesn't get your attention on the consequences of negligence, inattention, and simply being uninformed, nothing will. Let's take a look.
Home decorating for the holidays is a wonderful tradition, and CPSC wants your holiday season to be safe and happy. Here are a few tips to prevent holiday decorating related fires and injuries. One of the biggest holiday decorating hazards comes from unintentional candle fires. Keep burning candles within sight at all times. Extinguish all candles before you go to bed, leave the room, or leave the house. Keep lit candles in a stable, heat-resistant surface where kids and pets can't reach them or knock them over. Candles should be placed away from items that can catch fire or burn easily, such as trees, bedding, tablecloths, decorations, and curtains. When you buy a live tree, check for freshness. A fresh tree is green, its needles are hard to pull from the branches, and do not break when bent between your fingers. The bottom of a fresh tree is sticky with resin. When tapped on the ground, the tree should not lose many needles. Make sure to place your tree away from heat sources such as fireplaces, vents, and radiators. Always keep the stand filled with water. When you buy an artificial tree, look for the label Fire Resistant. Although this label does not mean the tree can't catch fire, it does mean the tree is more resistant to burning. Holiday lights keep your home looking festive, but those too come with a set of safety tips. Only use lights that have been tested for safety by a nationally recognized testing lab. Check all sets of lights, whether they are new or old, for broken or cracked sockets, frayed or bare wires, or loose connections. Throw away damaged sets, and don't use electric lights on a metallic tree. Make sure your outdoor lights say they are certified for outdoor use and only plug them into a GFCI or ground fault circuit interrupter outlet. If you use an extension cord, make sure it is rated for your intended use. Keep these safety tips in mind and have a safe and happy holiday season.
I'm sure you found that to be very useful information. In the very least, I'm hoping that it served as a great reminder of the safety precautions you should be taking as you decorate your home this holiday season. Well, that's our show for today. If you would like to check on toy recalls issued by the Consumer Product Safety Commission as well as other federal agencies, visit www.recalls.gov. You will also find a link to the CPSC homepage there. That's www.cpsc.gov. If you would like to report a safety issue with a toy or other consumer product, visit the CPSC website at www.saferproducts.gov. The CPSC toll-free consumer hotline is 800-638-2772. Their TTY number is 301-595-7054. The toll-free hotline hours are from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Messages can be left anytime. The mailing address of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is 4330 East West Highway, Bethesda, Maryland, 20814. The general information telephone number there is 301-504-7923. Those hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, you can watch previous editions of Health Watch online at www.norfolk.gov. If you'd like to drop me a line, you can email me at terrence.affer-anderson@vdh.virginia.gov. Please also feel free to give me a call at 757-683-8836. Again, that's 757-683-8836. For the Norfolk Department of Public Health, I'm Terrence Affer-Anderson, and this has been Health Watch.